Is it possible for us to have a Kundalini awakening and absolutely hate it? Absolutely just want to disown the whole thing and go back to life the way it used to be? And what is Kundalini Syndrome? Kundalini Syndrome is when, for whatever reason, Kundalini energy is so out of balance, so we are unable to harness that energy. We don't know how to move that energy around, so that rather than you being the one directing the energy is directing you, it is controlling you completely. But not only is it that the has taken over, that it's controlling you, it's that there is such a high build up. And imagine going through a really stressed out day, and you haven't taken a break at all. You haven't taken a break, you haven't had a cup of tea, or you haven't had a beverage, and you're just completely to the end of your tether. So a Kundalini syndrome is a bit like that for Kundalini energy. So imagine that there is so much there, but she doesn't have the space to move. So she gets compressed in one particular point. Anywhere, it could be anywhere, right? So when that gets stuck somewhere, it starts to cause all sorts of various things in our body, symptoms in our body. So apart from, and all of these symptoms overlap so much, but what is distinct about a Kundalini syndrome is it's maddening. It feels like you have lost a grip completely. It's physically so debilitating. So debilitating, right? Debilitating is a very mild word. That when you go and have a shower, to feel water touch your skin is too much, right? And that energy is so potent and alive that even if you're standing, any standing position gets that energy a bit loose again, and you start to feel it. You lie down and it's moving around. You have involuntary lucid dreaming, right? You have involuntary astral travel. You are literally sitting here, and before you know it, you've traveled somewhere. It's only when you come back you think, hang on, what am I doing? Where am I? You suddenly find yourself somewhere else. You lose time, and losing time is again like this, where something happens, you're somewhere else in another portal, you might see different figures, right? But the most difficult part about a Kundalini syndrome is that your normal day-to-day life gets so disrupted that keeping any relationships, any jobs, just focusing, getting things done, or even forget about conversations, is just, it won't even happen. It is so difficult. And with the Kundalini syndrome, we may feel so detached to the normal world, or rather physical world, or we may feel that we're sitting in this place right now, and you may imagine yourself to be certain things. You may feel that I am this. But there are times when, or some of us may get so angry, so frustrated, so anxious, that what is this hellish thing that I'm going through that cannot stop? You knock at the door of every medical professional, you knock at the door of every medicine man, medicine woman, healer, shaman. You just go anywhere and everywhere possible, and you still come back to square one. Whatever someone asked you to do, you try it and you're still going through it, right? You may go through kinesiology, you may go through chakra beds, chakra balancing, various yoga, meditation. Nobody seems to get it. Nobody seems to get what you're saying. And what you're saying is, look, I'm not quite myself. Something is happening. I'm not mad. I'm not mentally unstable. I'm not losing the plot. I'm not having a nervous breakdown. No, and I'm not sad. I'm not lonely. I'm quite okay. I had a normal life, but it got disrupted. My life got interrupted, right? So, how you're feeling at that point, right? And the thing is, at this stage, it is not something that you can go and talk to about with other people, and it all just depends on your circle of friends and people and that's why I said the good thing is that this information is getting out there. Now, Kundalini syndrome, guys, you don't have to suffer on your own, right? If you have realized that it is Kundalini and you've realized that it's imbalanced and you would like to bring it back down, get in touch with somebody you know, have a conversation so that you can bring it down. And the things that you can do to bring it down, try all the normal things, all the grounding techniques, but most importantly, try to get alive in your body, whether it means feeling your toes, your feet, your legs, your knees. You work everything and you start to really feel with your five senses. So you try to activate your five senses very outwardly as opposed to turning the attention in. So you almost, in a way, ignore that there is Kundalini that's awake. You try to go outward with your senses. Anything, enjoy music, if you can handle it at that time, because if you're going through Kundalini syndrome, sometimes your ears are so sensitive that it will be very, very difficult. Right? Get yourself doing something outwardly. Use sandalwood oil to rub on your neck, to rub on your feet. Go and sit outside in your garden if you have one, or somewhere, even when it's dark, in the quiet hours, so it's a little bit easier for us to deal with it. Kundalini syndrome is not easy, but it is something that can be dealt with. So don't suffer on your own. Now, there are a group of us that are suffering from this and may be knocking at every door because either they don't know about it or, right, they don't believe in it. So you might find yourself popping pills, going to different doctors, trying to get a diagnosis, and you may also already have a diagnosis of all sorts of various conditions, right? But guys, there are lots of ways of dealing with this. Follow your gut, obviously, but sometimes we do need somebody to hold the space for us, and there is so much support that's out there. Kundalini awakening can be stopped. It just depends on where it has reached. It can go back down so that you can go back to normal life in the physical existence in a way that is a lot more functionable and at your cutting edge wherever you are. Sending you love, love, love.